You're listening to Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast. Two friends since first grade, now dads reliving the Disney movies we grew up on with our own kids. I'm JB Wagner.
And I'm Eddie Ferguson. And on today's episode, we go from zero to hero as we review Hercules. But first, JB, how are you and the family?
Doing good. We have season 2 of soccer for my son. So we are right in the middle of that second season. He moved up a level. So before he was with like the 3 and 4 year olds, and he was in the middle. He was probably he wasn't like the tallest kid, but he was on the older end of it. Now, because of the way his birthday worked out, he's around 4 years old. He's still 4 years old, but because his birthday happens in the middle of the season,
yeah,
he's in that U6 range, and he is usually the smallest kid on the field and the one of the least developed kids on the team. He has a lot of heart. Like when the ball is going, he just runs and has the biggest smile on his face, and he just goes and goes and goes. But we've gotten into the age now where there's some kids who actually have moves and like can pivot and turn.
It's not just like a mass of kids following around like a flock of birds.
The majority of it is, but we've found that almost every team has one kid who has some actual ability to like decide where they want to go. And like this kid the other night, he was like remember when we went to Brazil and they had all those little kids that when we played soccer with them, they were like 3 or 4 years old, and they were like putting the ball through their legs and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Destroying high
school kids. That's what one of the kids on this team he played recently, this past weekend. The kid, he had like 13 goals in the game, and they had to end up taking him out quickly out of the game. But the reason I'm telling the story is, so it's now been a theme, both of his first 2 games, somewhere near because they play in quarters. They play 4 quarters, 10-minute quarters. Okay. Somewhere in the beginning of the 4th quarter or middle of the 4th quarter, he gets hit or knocked down, or just straight up the ball smacks him in the face and takes him out of the game. It's been 2 straight weeks of like the first week. Some kid kicked it perfectly, jacked him straight in the face and knocked him down. And of course, my wife runs out onto the field to get him or whatever. And he's completely fine, but he was knocked out, crying, came over to the side. But after a couple of minutes, then he's fine and he's ready to go back in. And then this last one, something similar happened where he just got like thrown or tossed or hit or kicked or something. And he was then just down for the count. So this keeps on being and it's always the same time too. It's been the same time, kind of near the 4th quarter where the game is almost done. Yeah. And then out of nowhere comes this random injury. So it's kind of like one of those things you're like, sorry, buddy, this is just the way it's going to be for a while. And you're going to be in this age range for a long time, for several seasons. So.
Well, an Edism, if you don't have bad luck, then you have no luck at all.
I don't know that I've ever heard that one.
Oh, no. Oh, yes. I've heard that one quite a few times. So, yeah, you can tell them that. Well, if you didn't have any bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all.
I don't know if that makes me feel better.
It's all perspective.
It's not quite if you're 15 minutes early, you're on time, but it doesn't roll off the tongue quite as much.
That is true. Oh, goodness. So what do we have in Disney news?
New trailer.
A new trailer dropped. I started to watch it, and Sarah could hear me listening to it, and she was like, no, you're not watching that without me. I was like, what? I was like, how do you even know what I'm watching? She goes, you're watching the Hawkeye trailer, aren't you? I was like, how do you know from just hearing it? She goes, because I started it and then I stopped it because I thought, no, I got to watch this with Eddie. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay. So I stopped it, then we watched it together. So, yeah.
I was not ready for that trailer. Although I think, and thinking back to it, I think there was a little bit of a tease like Jeremy Renner may have teased a little bit that it was coming when I was doing some research recently. But yeah, so new trailer for the series, our first full look at Hawkeye, the series coming to Disney Plus in November through the holiday times, and it is a holiday themed series,
which is an interesting development. Like I had no idea that was what this was going to be. That was a total surprise to me in the trailer. But it also makes sense with kind of Marvel trying to hit all of the different kind of genres and subsets.
And this is a very specific genre. This is its own. It's in the it is a genre in of itself. There's certain tropes we expect, and the trailer for sure hit them all, especially the music wise. Is it the Most Wonderful Time of the Year? Is that what it was doing? I forget the song that it was. Was, I think it was.
And I think the most, I don't know what it is. Well, I mean, this is a trailer, right? So we're just dealing in seconds. But the most beautiful reference in all of that is Rogers, the musical. Like, I think that has broken the internet. Did you pick up on that?
No.
So it flashes by, like it's like 2 beats. You get one shot of Broadway, and it looks like a new Broadway musical has opened, and it's got all the banners and everything, and it's for a new musical called Rogers, and it's the life of Steve Rogers in musical.
What?
And then a little bit later in the trailer, there's just another quick beat of it that you see like a classic Broadway dance line with a guy playing Captain America with the shield in the front of it. And the moment that hit, I'm going, there we go. Like, how often do we not like tie back to Broadway in some way or another for musicals, right? Like I always think of like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. There you go. And like people are freaking out all over the internet. Like, now you have to make this musical. Now we have to have Rogers the musical. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's what the internet's saying.
I'm not saying it, but I'm saying
because I don't find a need for that in particular.
We aren't devoid. I mean, don't put it past Marvel. They've done just about everything else, other than. No, actually, they have. Because they did Spider-Man, the musical,
and don't put it past Disney to find another revenue stream. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up at like. I mean, Disneyland better than me. There's like a theater in Hollywood Land and Disney's California Adventure that's like right around the corner from the new Avengers campus.
Used to do a lot of when a couple years ago they were doing Aladdin. Now it's Frozen. It's the Frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, 100% they could do that.
They could do it there, and there'd be so much synergy. So yes, but the Hawkeye trailer, I didn't realize that who's the actress, the young lady, Haley Steinfeld. I thought she was Hawkeye's daughter.
Yes. Where did we get this from, Eddie? Because I said that was the first thing I said after I was like, wait, I thought she was his daughter.
Yeah. And then the trailer, it's something totally different. Totally different.
Yeah. Where did we get this from? Where did we think that this was the thing? Because it's apparently not true.
I want to say maybe this goes back to, because I haven't watched any of our guy, Screen Crush on YouTube, that you and I both are. As soon as we watch something Marvel, we just go watch him. I haven't had time to go watch his take on it yet. I wonder if he's the one who said it, because he's talked a lot about the whole Young Avengers thing, kind of bring it up. I wonder if we got it through something he said or referenced. Like
it's
maybe that was
right. It's gotta be. I'm now on distractify.com. Although Hawkeye's daughter does learn archery, she's not the same person as Kate Bishop. So, someone else.
So we're learning something new here.
Yeah, I think that the more you say it, I was like, because you and I were very in sync on that, but the person I saw it at the same time with, and I said that out loud, they were like, no, it's never been his. I was just like, well, you know what? Thanks a lot. Thanks for changing all the rules on me. But yeah, that was my first.
I'm there with you. Too. I was there with you, JB. It's okay. You've always got me.
I think are you more excited for the show now that we've got a taste of it, or?
I don't know. Like the interesting thing is, I think with the last 3, I just thoroughly enjoyed them so much. I think I would be hard pressed to not watch a Marvel TV show.
Oh, like, I'm gonna watch it.
Like I'm enjoying the What If series, and I thought that would be the one that I would be like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna watch that or whatever. And I'm enjoying that.
I had there's a lot more pull, or I have to watch it with the first 3 series that came out. What If is more just like, oh yeah, they came out. I should probably find some time because it has no.
Yeah, and I haven't watched them all yet. I've maybe watched 2 or 3 of them.
You have to text me when you get to the zombie episode.
Okay. I would definitely say, though, you are right. After watching this, I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued now. You've got me. Especially making it Christmas themed.
I think that's going to be fun. I think having a Christmas themed series during Christmas. I don't know that I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Have we ever, obviously not a Marvel version, but have we ever had something where it was like an entire Christmas series that came out during the holidays, like Thanksgiving through Christmas? Because that's kind of what it's going to be, probably through the year, through the new year. If it's a 6-series episode, that'll be kind of fun. Like I'm trying to think off.
Yeah.
If I've experienced that before. We've obviously had movies come out, but we've never had like a Christmas series.
No, because usually what you have is like the Christmas episode, right? And that's kind of typically what I think of here. So yeah, maybe it's that. I don't know.
Well, anyways, I think I think that gives it enough of a spin to make it like this could be a fun like thing we all do while we're watching other Christmas movies and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyways, any you look like you were about to have another word of wisdom before I was going to awkwardly transition us.
Oh, you know me. I just always have the words of wisdom.
Always have all the words. All the words.
No, not at all. I didn't have anything.
Well, that is it for all of our words for the things you are not here for. Now it is time for the thing we are here for, which is we are here to talk about the 1997 classic, maybe underrated Disney animated film, which is Hercules.
Cue the Disney sound effect.
Okay, IMDb description for Hercules is this. The son of Zeus and Hera is stripped of his immortality as an infant and must become a true hero in order to reclaim it. I think it's fine. I don't know that we needed both Zeus and Hera because she's only in a little tiny bit, but she did bring the. I'm just like, maybe, I don't know, maybe 2021. I don't know. I just didn't feel like she was as necessary to this. And it never actually says Hercules in it. Should it have said Hercules somewhere?
I feel like since he is also the title, like you would read this, Hercules, the son of Zeus and Hera, is stripped of his immortality. Like, okay.
Okay. We'll go with it. It's fine. I don't think it was quite as good as the last one, but it's okay.
Yes. I mean, it's a straightforward, he must become a true hero in order to reclaim it. Like, okay, that's so broad in general. It doesn't give us anything of the plot.
Zeus does.
But again, I think
Son of Zeus.
This is true. I think we talked about this last week. I think the main objective of a description is to try and keep you from not watching it.
Okay. Yep.
Right? You don't want to read this and go,
basically.
I don't want to watch that.
Exactly. Keep it broad. So Eddie.
Yeah.
What's funny to me, what's not funny, what is interesting to me is this movie is not anywhere near that. It's kind of like it lives in the land of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, where it's not
Good
the
reference.
first movie.
Yeah.
It's not the first movie reference, but it's like got all the things that you want in a Disney animated film. It's got music, storyline, characters. It feels like they spent a lot of time on things other than the CGI on this. Definitely wasn't stellar. Different characters. They got a few famous people in there too.
Right.
Why do you think this is that this movie isn't near the top of the list? Because it's in the middle to back end of the Disney decade.
So let me just jump in deep.
Okay.
The way I don't know how else to answer that question than the information that I unearthed in the deep research that I
Reddit?
did for this. No, I think I read 2 or 3 articles, and boom, I'm an expert. So this was directed by Ron Clements and John Musker, who shot to fame when they did The Little Mermaid, right? But they also had done Aladdin. And so after they had finished Aladdin, their desire, and I mean, since then they've gone on and done like incredible things, right? Like they did Princess and the Frog, they did Mulan. Like these guys have a Midas touch. They're just, the projects they do are really quite phenomenal. They wanted to go from Aladdin and go on to Treasure Planet. That was their next big project that they wanted to do. And so they were working to develop Treasure Planet. They had all these ideas with Treasure Planet, which we will get to. Like they eventually did make it. But the executives at Disney weren't wild about the Treasure Planet idea. They kind of wanted something a little more closer to an Aladdin or Little Mermaid, which, you know, Treasure Planet is a significant departure, but they were ready to try something different, right? They wanted to do something new. And so Disney just wouldn't allow them to pursue Treasure Planet at that time. And they found some guy at Disney Animation who had like had a treatment worked up on this idea for Hercules. And they just kind of like took it on.
Wow.
So I share all that to say, after I discovered that, and I discovered it after I had watched the movie, I felt like it put the finger on something that I kind of felt throughout the whole movie. Like it just didn't get all the way there. Like the movie just doesn't fully blossom to its full potential. Like it has... It's a compelling story idea. It's got interesting characters. It's got some good voice acting. It's got great music. You know, the music's undeniable, but it just doesn't have that spark for me. Like it just doesn't open up all the way. And I wondered after I read that if it was like, well, it's because like the leaders, this wasn't a passion project for them.
It didn't come from them. It came
passion?
from the other. Yeah, they were kind of assigned to do it.
Yeah. And it kind of feels like that to a certain degree. Like there's definitely some we're just checking the formula. And at times it feels a little rushed going from, you know, this beat to that beat and this beat and then that beat. Did you feel that? Did you feel like it never opened up or fully? I don't know. I never felt like it got the full heart behind it that you usually feel in a Disney animated film.
I'm not sure that so it's not I'm trying to find words for it because I enjoyed myself and I would totally rewatch this in a heartbeat. And
me too.
I don't, and there are things about his storyline that I relate with. I really feel bad when there's the big moment where Meg is, her soul is going to the afterlife, and I definitely feel all of that. I don't know that, but I think I'm trying to relate with you, but at the same time, I enjoyed myself watching this film, and it wasn't crazy emotional for me. Like, I feel like there were moments in Notre Dame that went deeper than it. Maybe that's it, because I didn't take it. It was never a deep film to me, and maybe that's what I'm.
Yeah, don't
wanted
get me
something
wrong.
Deeper.
I loved it. Like we watched it all together. Like, it was hilarious. Lewis, we decided to do, like, every once in a while we'll do like dinner and a movie as a family, and it's just kind of a unique thing where we'll sit around and eat our dinner while watching a movie. It's just kind of something special. Like, Lewis stopped eating. Like, he was so enthralled in the movie. And I think in part because one of the things that I love about the movie is the action, and that the action is also comedic at the same time. It's lighthearted and fun. And to me, like, that's really compelling and fun. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, you get like a Little Mermaid, a Beauty and the Beast, an Aladdin, Hunchback even, right? There's just these moments where the movie just like opens up and soars. You cease to realize that you're watching an animated movie, and it just becomes something else.
It was definitely animated all the way through.
Yes, it just feels like there we go. It just feels like like a really great animated film all the way through. There's not a moment where it just like takes it to another level where you're like, it doesn't matter that this is animated or not. Like, this is just an amazing film. And it has moments, like, don't get me wrong, like, Go the Distance is Disney classic, right? Like, there's, I think like the fireworks show at Walt Disney World right now, like, there's a huge moment where like Go the Distance is like a huge section of the fireworks show. Like, it comes up on almost any like Disney greatest hits montage, that is out there. And that's a fun moment. But as a whole, the movie does, just for me, didn't open up to that moment. But that doesn't take it away. Like, I will watch this again. I will listen to the music over and over like I always do. I think it's fun and lighthearted. The family really enjoyed it. We're all kind of gathered around. This whole time, there was just that like little pebble in your shoe where you're like, it just feels a little off. What is this? So
I think I'll agree with you in this. This movie suffers from Superman syndrome to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just really hard to empathize with somebody who is superhuman to this degree. I think it's something about superhuman strength that it's just on another level where it makes it hard to sympathize with someone. I actually don't really care for most of the Superman films that have been made. I can't think of one that I really, really enjoyed because of the fact that he's basically almost perfect. And so it's really hard to, even when you try to introduce like a kryptonite or something like that, it's just really hard to be like, oh man, you had this one moment, you're kind of weak. Like, everybody else is such flawed people when it's not a flawed person. He's a nice guy who is also superhuman strong. He falls in love with the girl, but he's famous. He has all these awards, all this money.
Yeah.
He's done these things. Yeah. And yes, there is a moment at the end where he has to make a choice for love instead. But even when he like loses his powers, like to some degree, and so I think that's probably where some of this suffers from. And it's not necessarily, it was already built into the story where maybe they could have gone many extra levels deeper working on his character to make him more empathetic, more flawed in some degree. Potentially.
I like your Superman reference. I think that's really beneficial to understanding this. And as you were saying it made me think like the only Superman film that I've somewhat enjoyed was Man of Steel. And the main reason why I like that is because of the supporting cast.
Yep.
Like I really love Amy Adams and some of the others that are around that character.
His mom, I kind of felt for his mom, like losing.
Well, you had Kevin Costner in there. Like you had several really great, strong actors in Man of Steel as the supporting cast. And I think I don't really care, Superman. Yeah, again, you struggle with that. And I think that's why what I really love about Hercules is I love all of the characters. Like Meg is this complex, quote unquote damsel in distress. I know the movie
but
kind of
flipped
pokes
on
fun
its
at
head
that
because she's really running
flipped
the
on its
show
head
to some degree.
Right. Phil is a fun, interesting character. And of course you bring in like a Danny DeVito to voice him, just kind of brings it to a whole nother level. I love Hades, Pain, and Panic. Like that trio, every time they're on stage, on screen, I'm connecting. Like I just love it. Especially there's just like this banter and just kind of quick-wittedness about them that I love. So when you said the Superman thing, that's what kind of clicked for me. It's like, but why do I love this? Like, why do I really enjoy Hercules? I think it's because I really love the full ensemble around him.
So here's a quick question. I didn't actually look this up, and maybe I could do it right now, but I'm too lazy to do it. The voice actor for Zeus, is that the same guy who voiced Triton from Little Mermaid? Is that the same guy? Because the voices are so similar, Zeus and Triton, that it kind of made me wonder if it wasn't the same exact voice. The reason I'm saying that is another thing I thought of watching this film, and I don't think it annoyed me as much, but there did seem to be quite a bit of not copying like exactly, but taking certain tropes from many of the other different Disney films and putting them all into this. So
for sure.
So the whole Hades, Panic, and Pain could have been Scar and the
hyenas.
The hyenas, which we then see the Scar. He's wearing the Scar whole skin thing. Zeus or Hades a lot, or Zeus a lot like Triton. There's other even the horse. Like we've seen that horse character throughout and it goes all the way to Tangled with the horse. Tangled feels a lot like that. You're right. Meg really is one of the few characters that feels completely different than any of the other characters in the animated movies that we've seen. She
are you
fits tempted?
In her own thing. Tempted to say like the Walt Disney Animation Cinematic Universe? Or,
someone have a Pixar theory about that? How they all kind of like live together. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of things that kind of were similar to a lot, but Meg is the one that really sticks out, and she's really the one that brings a lot of the heart to this film. A lot of her own backstory of falling in love, losing that person for a very different reason. Like, it's just she like saved her life she saved his life, and then he just walked off to the next young thing he could find. It was like, wow, like talk about a relevant thing. So I think Meg is what kept me going through and what kept it so high in my mind throughout, that sure. I didn't feel like I lost out on anything. But it sounds like you had more of that feeling. I got some of those things that I wanted from any film I got from Meg instead of the hero. So
yeah. I also felt like the the battle scene at the end was it's like one and done. Like it was just
they made a big deal about him. He can't go up to, and that was the other thing. There was a little thing of Hercules can't go back to live with Zeus, but then he could go up to the mountain whenever he when he wanted to at the very end. There was a few things like that. But yeah, like they made a big deal about these monsters coming up and they're attacking him, but then they very quickly get taken down. Like in an instant. There was like, no
boom,
final...
they take over Olympus. Oh, boom, Hercules defeats him. It's like boom, boom.
Yeah, that was a very quick turn of events that feel like there should have been some more fight to it. You're right.
Yeah. So I just it just felt like with a few of those things, it was just kind of slightly off. I still really enjoy this movie, and I think at its core, I think what helps just kind of sell the music is the music, right? That's what sells this for me.
Which one? So for you, I Can Go the Distance is your number one favorite in this group, right?
Yes. Yeah. I don't think that there's much of a competition, even though like I enjoy
Zero to Hero is great.
Zero to Hero is so good. Even the opening number with the muses, kind of, laying the groundwork, the gospel truth. That is just such a, that's just such an interesting. I just the mind of Alan Menken. And I finished the first part, and I'm waiting. This month drops the second part. My Disney, the Four Scores podcast that I love. I think I've talked about this a couple times on here.
Yeah.
They're in the middle of interviewing him, and his mind, just like, why would you put, gospel choir music with Hercules? Like, that's just such an interesting artistic choice to me. And it really elevates it, really brings it to a whole nother level where you're like, oh, okay, this is fun. And I think that's the Disney trope that they improved upon. It kind of opens with, you think it's just going to be this deep booming narrator voiceover, and then they step in and they take over. You're like, okay, that's a fun new twist.
I did like the muses. Danny DeVito, of course, killed it at being the guide throughout this. It was a little bit different take, but still a guide, nonetheless. I appreciated all the merchandising things that they did when they go to Zero to Hero. There's so many fun, like every vase and every vase, Bunza Braun's workout routine, the Scar skin rug, of course. Get your pita bread. Oh, so the whole making this town Thebes. They call it the Big Olive instead of the Big Apple, all the I'm walking here, and get your pita bread, the sundial guy, and they just kind of ripped off of New York City street culture to some degree, and then going into all the merchandising things. Like I appreciated those extra little connections right there.
Yeah, it just brought character and just a fun tone to it all. You didn't say what your favorite song is.
So this is the thing. We know what's actually funny is my favorite. So I love all the songs in this, but what's interesting to me is the songs that actually stick with me aren't the song. One of which is not the song from the actual movie. So as we were having our first child, before we had our first kid, our first year of marriage, we had Disneyland annual passes, and we would listen to on Spotify the We Love Disney covers going down there. And Ariana Grande, who I really loved at the time, she did Zero to Hero, and it sounds almost identical music wise to, like, how sometimes they'll cover it and they do it like in pop punk or whatever instead of what the thing is. It basically sounds like she took the exact same tracks, but then she sang the parts, and it's amazing. So that was one that I really loved. Also, I forgot that he did it, but Michael Bolton's cover of Go the Distance in the end is like the most Michael Bolton thing ever, where he just comes in and does this, like, takes that song and draws it out even longer, and he's just singing in all his Michael Bolton-ness. And then I had to go watch the SNL sketch of where Michael Bolton was on Lonely Island, and that's a whole nother rabbit trail in of itself. But it's hard to go against. I can go the distance because at its peak, it's definitely higher and bigger and wider than Zero to Hero. But I just love Zero to Hero too. So
I'm glad you brought up the little jokes all throughout Zero to Hero with like the merchandising and everything, because that definitely you just see them having fun, right? And that I enjoy those moments where you're like, whoever was making that sequence or producing that sequence, they were just having fun. They were just having a blast doing all that. It's interesting you brought up Ariana Grande, because they are going to be making a live action remake of Hercules. It was announced last year, produced by the Russo brothers.
Whoa.
So they are stepping on that side of Disney. And the leading candidate to play Meg is Ariana Grande.
Right now? Wow.
According to the World Wide Web.
The World Wide Web. Very interesting. I'm very interested to see how they do the cast. They've done, hasn't The Rock done a Hercules movie? Or there's been like some other people doing Hercules related things.
Yeah, remember we had the Clash of the Titans series of films with the guy from Avatar.
That wasn't like the same. That was Clash of the Titans. That wasn't Hercules though, right?
I thought he was Hercules.
I mean, potentially.
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Dwayne Johnson did come out with a Hercules movie.
Really?
Yep. In 2014.
When?
In 2014, there's a Hercules, and he's literally wearing a scar like headdress, like a lion's head. Yes, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, send me this.
John Hurt.
How did I miss
John
that?
Hurt is in it. I did not watch this film. I 100% did not watch this film.
What was I doing in 2014 that I missed this?
Rebecca Ferguson's in it. Wow. Okay. There's some deep cuts in here. Yeah. So I definitely need to find that. Brett Ratner did it. I don't think it made much money or made much of an impact. Oh, it's the same summer as like all these other crazy, like Inside Out came out, and
okay.
And you know what else came out that year, which I rewatched last night and loved every second of it.
Tomorrowland.
No.
Oh, sorry.
But that was also that year. Also, I was distracted. No. Now it's gone. It's leaving my brain. Now it's just leaving. It is Jurassic World.
Oh yes, I remember, because you were texting me that if we were going to go on the Jurassic World tour.
Man, I forgot how much I like the action in that is so good.
It's good.
Like I normally am falling asleep on movies if I start it at 9:00. We start at 9:00 and watch it all the way through.
But it falls off hard with the Fallen Dominion or whatever. Did you see the second Jurassic
The second
World?
one, I can't remember. I literally couldn't remember the plot. It must have been that bad because I could not remember the plot of it to save my life. I just remembered a mansion and then a secret. Yeah, it was not nearly as good. But I still want to go rewatch it to remember, because we've got the new one coming out. When is it? Next summer?
Something
the next one's coming out. But anyways,
something
I digress.
like that. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Hercules. Okay, so we'll have to figure out the Rock version. Yeah, I think we're dealing with Greek mythology, right? So there's been dozens upon dozens of movies and whatnot, just kind of pulling on the Greek mythology storylines.
Do you remember the Hercules series? Was it Brendan Fraser as Hercules? Or Kevin...
the 1988 TV series that like Disney did based off of this one?
It was the same time as Xena Warrior Princess.
Oh, you're talking about like
Kevin Sorbo. Freaking Sorbo.
Those are the New Zealand TV shows.
Do you remember who was a side? Oh, young Hercules. Ooh, this is good. So there's a young Hercules in here too. Guess who the star of young Hercules was?
The guy who plays Aemir, right?
No. Ryan Gosling.
Really?
I'm texting that to you now so you can behold all of its glory. Man, there's so many good threads from this. This is not our normal review. Right. There's so many good things to pull on. We've had debate.
Where I thought you were going with that is because Disney capitalizes on this, and there was, I think, it was Disney's One Saturday Morning in 1998. They did like a Hercules series that came out after that one that followed more of the teenage Hercules, which is, I don't know if you've ever seen it in the episodes. It did like 2 seasons. It's funny because you've got that moment in the movie, right, where you've got the klutzy young Hercules in the center of town.
Yeah.
So you can imagine a whole TV series just kind of based off of, give a klutzy teenager superhuman strength. Okay.
Yeah.
We could drag that on for 2 seasons.
I definitely watched the back-to-back Xena Warrior Princess and Hercules phase for a little bit there in like 5th, 6th grade.
I'm trying to pull it back to Disney's Hercules and you're just still stuck over here.
I'm sorry. I haven't thought
I'm trying to reel you in, Disney's One Saturday Morning that nope.
I'm just reliving moments that I haven't thought about. I forgot that I had mental capacity at that time. I just forgot that this was even a thing. But you know what?
Did those TV series serve as great inspiration for future works?
Like Beowulf? No, they did not. It was just pure, hey, there's fight scenes happening and bad acting. But anyways,
yeah.
Any last things you want to talk about, Eddie? To summarize this because we're getting close to the end of the Disney decade. There's only so many of these masterpieces left.
Yeah, we've only got 3 years left, 4 years left. I don't think that this is going to end up being near the top of my list, but I think it also shows the strength of the whole decade, that this, even though this is a really great film, and I mean, it's not going to rise to the top. It's not going to be one of the best of the decade, but it's still really good, right? And I think that speaks to the overall quality of Disney animation at the time.
Okay. All right. So how many fruit snacks are you giving it?
This is hard. Are you keeping track of these now? So I had set these out. I was starting to eat some fruit snacks right before we started. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to save them. And I laid out here 4 fruit snacks. 2 green, 2 red.
So you're going with 4?
I'm going with 4 fruit snacks.
I'm going to 4 as well. I had fun.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
I had fun.
I will
watch it again.
I will totally watch it again.
But I don't think this will be like on repeat. Like Beauty and the Beast, watch it all the time. This one, I don't think it's going to be quite at that level. Beauty and the Beast, I gave 5, right?
I also forgot one little nugget. This was the first movie we bought after my son was born. He was in the
Really?
he was in the NICU for a week because he
Yeah.
was born a month early, 5 weeks early. And so we decided we need to kill some time while they were changing of the guard at the NICU, where they make all the parents leave, and then they would like bring on the next crew and get them up to date of where the kid had been that day for the previous 12 hours, because they did 12-hour shifts. So we went somewhere, I think it was Target or something like that, and we're like, it was way before Disney Plus, but we were like, we need to buy some more Disney movies to raise our child in the way it should go. And we bought this movie. We bought Hercules, and so we actually had it on. We have it on Vudu because we have the digital copy, as well as on Disney Plus. So I forgot about that.
That's a great memory.
I completely forgot about it, so I don't know.
I was going to say, like,
it is
buried that out in there.
My wife.
Like, I'm gonna start crying over here as you're telling this.
Give it 5 stars. Give it 5.
Give it 5.
Give it
Okay,
5.
you can have it all.
We have to. But anyway,
no, it was we were talking about you guys today because we're 5 weeks away from baby being born.
Eddie, and so we were any moment now.
Right. So we were thinking through like your guys' experience and just remembering.
Yeah, just think if you were just going about your day and you went home and then all of a sudden her water broke. That was us. We were not ready by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
No go bag, no nothing. I literally went and dropped her off at the hospital, made sure she got in a room and everything like that. Then I drove home and back to back and all the things, and then came back at like 2 a.m. And fell asleep on a cot, and then was woken up at 6 a.m. by doctors and all kinds of stuff. So
it is odd. There's big, huge events in your life that you remember like outside of yourself, like, and then there's like personal moments and stuff like that you just can kind of click back and remember. For whatever reason, you calling me to tell me that all that was going on, I can just like, boom, go back into that moment in my head so clearly. Because I remember feeling for you so much. And I remember getting online and like searching for flights to California. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, what could I do? Like, there's nothing if I'm out there, Yep. Oh, man. But yeah, Hercules.
Crazy.
That makes me enjoy this just a little bit more.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Well, that's it for today's episode.
Solid 4.
We're on to the next one next week, which is going to be George of the Jungle. So a lot of chanting going to be in our house as we lead into that episode. But you can go to honeywemade.com/movies and watch all the movies that we've done already and all the ones that are coming up, because we still got a long way to go. As we march towards 2000, from 1988 to 2005. And while you're on there, go on to wherever you're listening to podcasts, subscribe, tell a friend, leave us a rating. We'd love to know what you think about the show, things we should do. If you totally disagree with us, which you're probably wrong because there's 2 of us, only 1 of you. But anyways, thanks for listening to another episode of Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast.